Alright, folks, so I'm gonna be honest. I'm going to change up my videos. I'm gonna tweak them a little bit. I'm coming to the realization, no, I have known for some time. Comics are, these days, comics are just, they're too, they're trash, man. I tend to think that there's always good you can find in all the mediums, There's a little bit of something for everyone. But with these comics nowadays concerning DC and Marvel, it's you really have to go digging through the crates, so to speak, to actually find good comics that they make, because a lot of these comics are just filled with so many different um, agendas, and it just seemed like it was more genuine back in the day, where you read about topics that were political or whatever the case may be, and it came off genuine because you knew that the writers, along with the the artists that were drawing these characters, you knew they were genuine. You know, it was coming from a genuine place because they had really had passion to tell stories that hadn't been told, or at least told in the way that they were that they were telling them. They knew they still, it felt like, as I read the older comics, if, it seems like they cared more about sincerity, whereas now there's just a lot of shock value comics out now, and it's always about like some type of agenda. And for me, I just want a good story, man. Me, I always say, if you have a good story, you can tell any type of story as long as the story is good, man. If the story is good, you can get away with murder. But it's just nowadays, it's too. These comics are just falling flat, man. DC and Marvel is just falling flat for me, man. I'm really think that I'm gonna have to dig through these crates, man, so to speak, and find some good material to really talk about, man. It's getting harder, man. I might just start talking about manga, because manga is stomping a mud hole in American comics, and everyone knows that. Yeah, it's just hard to find some good Marvel and DC stuff, man. Honestly, you guys, I'm about to really try to make it a point to find some independent comics that I can read and discuss, because I jumped over to manga for a little bit, and I stumbled upon Berserk. Well, I didn't stumble upon Berserk, but someone, I found out about Berserk through some channels, and it was fantastic, man. It's the best thing. Yeah, yeah, it's the best comic. I mean, not comic, but it's the best. It's the best thing that I've ever read. That was, just yeah, that style. Manga was, Berserk. It was the best thing. Like, it blows anything out the water that I've read that it's comics book that's a comic book, for sure. Now maybe there's other mangas better than Berserk, but that's, good luck with that, man. Because Berserk was the greatest thing I've ever read. Excuse me, read it. Why can't I speak? Why can't I speak? It's one of the best things that I've ever read. No comic book that I've ever read compares to it, and it's just a shame that these comic books nowadays, they're just trash, man. I shouldn't have. There's so many comics out. You would think that I wouldn't have to. You would think that there just wouldn't, because you could hear it, just looking, me, that now that I've entered this comic book world, and trying to figure out what's cool and what's not as far as content. You would think that there would be it wouldn't be such a hard a hard discovery, a difficult discovery as far as finding good comics from DC and Marvel, but it is, man. For example, I don't like blackface. You know what I'm saying? I've said this before. If anyone's watched my videos, you know what I'm saying? I got a couple people watch my videos. I don't like blackface, man. I think um, there's been a lot of half-assing, which is one of the things that I don't like when it comes to writing. You know what I'm saying? I don't like people that half-ass. Like I could tell a mile away, and then especially knowing that these artists, knowing that these writers and these artists are, you know, they're working together, and this is the best they come up with, is blackface. For example, you got Black Batman. I think Black Batman is the wackest shit ever. Simply because you got all these different characters that are black, that are of color. You know, People like to say POC. I think that's racist. I mean, why would you call someone a POC? I mean, all these robot words they use. But anyways, it's just stupid, man. Because you got all these different characters, all these original characters that are actually black. You know what I'm saying? And they don't focus on them at all. And that's just one of my gripes. I had a cousin send me something recently about some shock value comic, and I'm like, wow, is it good? I know that it was a shock value thing, but is it actually a good comic? You know, it seems like I always am skeptical when I see something that Usually they say you you only get one shot. You only get one shot to really get people excited about your work, right? You only get one shot, and so when people see it, they're like, boom, I love it or I like it. I mean, I love it, I hate it. But which also reminds me, you only get one shot for people to really find your stuff awesome looking, and that's fucking awesome looking. But yeah, man, I had my cousin today. My cousin today. Let me look at that. Hold on, before I get to my cousin. She's awesome. My cousin today showed me something, and my thumb got in the way. My cousin showed me something today that I really didn't care for. I'm not checking for some of the stuff they're putting out. I know some of these comics. I don't check for a lot of the political stuff that they put out. You know what I mean? Just because I just feel like it's disingenuous. Because if you're leading with stuff like that, you know what I mean, and politics is already divisive. You know what I'm saying? If you're leading with that, then I'm just like, if I know you're leading with hot button topics, it kind of makes me feel like it's disingenuous because I know you're gonna get people, like, you're gonna get eyes on it. You know what I mean? Which I feel like, okay, is the comic good? You know what I mean? Is the comic good? I don't want to see something that's shock value. You know what I mean? I don't need something that's shock value because instantly I'm gonna think that whatever between that those that front cover and that back cover is trash. I'm just gonna assume that because you're just trying to do shock value. Usually shock value doesn't have substance. I mean, if I'm being honest, that's my perception of a lot of these comics nowadays. A lot of people are just going for shock. A lot of these creators seems like they're going for shock value. I'm not really big on shock value. I'm more on substance. I like the substance. I like to win fans over the hard way. I actually like to have to do the work and write characters and write genuine characters. I like to put them in situations that are, genuine, so I can do world building, character building. A lot of these new comics out, it seems like they're not really trying to gain our dollar so much as they're trying to tell us their political affiliations, and I'm not with that, man. You know what I mean? I'm with a good story, and if you have a good story, you can get anything across that you want to, that you're a part of, that you feel deeply about. But if you're sitting up here, like I've always said, if you have a great story, you can add all the other shit, right? But the story, the quality of your story, cannot be a footnote to a message that you're trying to get across. No matter how political, I mean, if it no matter political, whatever, the story can never be a footnote. And it's ridiculous. Like I said, I'm about to start finding some manga to talk about. Because if I do talk about, I got a feeling that I'm gonna have to go find some older comics that are Marvel and DC, and I'm also gonna make a point to talk about some new comics that are independent. I know Unique Studios is pretty good. They've got some comics that I've read recently. Um, yeah, Unique Studios is great. Um, Roya Coupe, he's fantastic. I hope I said his name right. Roya Coupe, he's fantastic, man. He's got some really good stuff out, man. And I'm going to be talking about that. For example, boom. Iyano, she's fantastic. Just happened to be around. So, yeah. That's just, this guy built his own world, man. Yeah, Roya Coupe, this dude built his own world. And just characters that are, just, it is great to know that this guy built this world and he's just one of many independent, well, he just had a partnership with Dark Horse, excuse me. So he's redistributing his work to them. But I mean, they came to him when he already had the food on the plate. So he was ready to go. He already had a world built before they even knocked on his door. So, that I consider that independent. And I think now's the time. I think now is the time that independent creators must shine. They need to shine. It is absolutely paramount that they shine because there is a void that needs to be filled right now, and the fans are hungry for it. The fans are hungry for something different, something new, because what we're getting from these big companies, it is it seems like they're just like making something and they're like, here, just be happy with it. We're the big brand. We know you're gonna like our stuff just because we have the logos. You know what I mean? And it's just like, nah, man. Like, we gotta stop buying into that shit. We gotta start supporting these independent artists that are hungry, that have more charisma, more integrity, more sincerity, more passion. You know what I mean? They're not trying to force things on us. They're trying to actually earn our money. You know what I'm saying? Earn our attention. And we need to start rewarding those people because there are some great independent artists out here, man. Some great independent artists, man. But, you know, y'all stay tuned, man.